Welcome back, I'm Diana if you're new here, and in today's episode we're going to talk about how to optimize your singleness using a tiny yet very powerful key called happiness. Because one, we're individuals, and two, I believe that when we're single we have a higher chance slightly of experiencing more sadness and unhappiness due to loneliness. Tiny little bit, right? But of course I know that a lot of you have mastered your happiness, you've mastered happiness, and I love that. But if you're still struggling in that one area, I want to give you some of the tips that I use that will get you in your happiest state. Happiness is a crucial component to living your most wonderful life. And if you're single, it's crucial to living a very fulfilled single life. Why? Well, because when you're not happy, life literally looks like it's the end of the world, right? In most cases, or in some cases. And it's like people start to ask you, why are you single? How come you're not married? And you get upset and angry over that simple little question, right? Because you're in this unhappy state. And on top of that, you haven't met somebody special, you're not in a good mood, and everything just seems like a downward spiral. Am I right? Now, I too have had many moments of unhappiness in my life, but I've lived single for such a long time that I've been able to cultivate happiness. And I have seen a dramatic difference in my life when I'm happy versus when I'm unhappy. It's incredible. So I want to give you some tips on how you can be happy while single. And again, I'm focusing on being single because there's this whole concept of, oh, when you're in a relationship, you're giddy, you're in love, things just look like butterflies all over the place, and it's wonderful, right? You're happy. Everything just looks so good and wonderful, right? In most cases, and I love that. And you're in a happy state because there's so much that's being fulfilled in that relationship that there's not enough room for unhappiness. In most cases. And of course, outside of all the horrible things that happen in bad relationships that can cause you to be unhappy and miserable. Yes, those do exist, of course, so I am very aware, but for the most case, when you think of being in a relationship, you think of like all the good things, all the happy things. At least that's how I always imagine being in a relationship. It's always happy. But of course, there are bad moments. But aside from all of that, I want to remind you that being a single individual, happiness is a magnet for you. Did I say that right? Magnet. And even if you're in a relationship and you're unhappy for whatever reason, this will help bring you back to happy. And in turn, it will overflow onto your significant other and bring you closer. And you'll both be happy. Wouldn't you want that? Because happiness is a magnet for attraction. Let me do a little bit of explanation here. Because for instance, let's say some of the reasons you're unhappy are because of some difficult circumstance going on in your life, going on in your life. You're struggling financially. It could be the fact that the clouds are constantly gray in your area, which will make you very unhappy. And it could be, I don't know, it could be a lot of different things, right? A number of things. But I will say that, yes, I've gone through some tough times, moments, years where my life was just in a constant state of unhappiness because I was so angry. Everything made me angry. It's wild. It's really crazy. But yeah, I was constantly in an unhappy state and I never paid attention to my life. I just didn't even really care about it. Yes, I smiled every now and then, I laughed every so often, and I was sunshine in some cases. But for the most time, I was not happy. It was hard, and being single, knowing that I really desired to be in a relationship, made it really hard for me to be happy, because if what I wanted I wasn't getting, what was there to be happy about, right? and that could cause you to be very miserable. And so when I implemented these tips and started consistently being happy, I noticed dramatic changes in my life. Changes such as a healthy mentality, meaningful relationships, a more enjoyed life, honoring my singleness, and attracting great potential suitors. As once you're in this happy state, great things start to come to you. Now, there are multiple ways to be happy, right? I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos on that. And so I want to give you some of my tips, my personal tips that I use and I came up with, or that I discovered, on how I created happiness in my life that makes it so fulfilling, magical, and rewarding. And it makes me be able to live my best life even while I'm single or not. So it's really wonderful because I just discovered this. I haven't really seen the other videos of the happiness state, but this really helped me. So let's dive in. Tip number 1, start doing things you enjoy. It's very simple, and I'm sure you've heard that multiple times before somewhere, but there is so much happiness and joy and lightness when you're doing exactly what you enjoy. Maybe that's why they call it enjoy, because there's joy at the end, right? It's wild. But when you do things that make you smile and light up your spirit and make you see how magical life is, you're naturally going to be happy because you're in your elements. So whatever it is, find those things that bring true happiness to you. If you enjoy traveling, travel, or maybe do some day trips, right? If you enjoy being with friends and family, invite them over or call them on the phone and talk for hours and laugh. If sunsets bring you happiness, make time to go out and see them, watch them. Just be amazed, right? Discover your hobbies and do them. And it could be even as simple as arranging flowers, volunteering, taking deep breaths on top of a mountain at 10 a.m., dancing, organizing, praying, watching squirrels chase each other, being in nature. Again, these are just ways in which you can create happiness. Only you know what you like. So discover it. Don't be afraid to try something different and see how your spirit feels connected to that, right? And doing things you truly enjoy will always boost you up, and any memory of them will just elongate that emotion. Your countenance will also change. Y'all, I have a resting face, but when I'm really happy, it's different, right? It's not there because you are happy. And if you're single, you're more likely to meet your significant other because you look approachable and you share similar interests. Just saying. Tip number 2, gratitude. Another way to create happiness in your life is through gratitude. Let's say you've been single for a long time and you're sick and tired of it. Well, instead of hating the season of your life, be grateful for it. Being single has its perks. For instance, freedom, because 1, you don't have to report to anyone, and 2, you have more time to focus on your missions and to learn how to be a better you in whatever instance that may be. So when you become grateful, even for the opportunity of being single, you start to feel amazing in your singleness. You no longer see it as a curse or something bad, but you see it as a blessing, and that in turn makes you happy. And when you're happy, your light shines, right? You have this sort of sunshine around you, which is good for your soul and for those around you. Also, let's say you're facing some of life's challenges. You will need gratitude to get you to your happiness. You see, there are so many good things that happen to you or that you experience, but you never really think about them, right? You've been there, I've been there. And when challenges come, that's when you really need to contemplate on the good things. Like that one time when you found $1 or more in your back pocket when you needed some change, right? Or when the sun touches your skin and you feel its warmth. or the sound of your favorite songs going through your ears. Sound, the vibration, the beautiful melody. It's wonderful, right? That's amazing. And that's something to be grateful for. And when you're grateful for even the simplest of things, you become filled with happiness, because how can you not, right? You're left in wonder because of how amazing all of that has been for you and in your life. And so when life is hard, the happiness you will get from gratitude will make you feel alive again. And last but not least, tip number 3, create a beautiful environment. I used to be a very messy girl, y'all. Like, I don't even know where that behavior came from, but it was so bad. I was so lazy that I was dirty. I didn't do my laundry for weeks, so clothes were everywhere. I hated doing chores, so I didn't do them. I kept dirty dishes in my sink for days. Y'all, it was bad. I was single. Like, there's no reason to have all of that around, right? I was in such a gloomy mood and felt so unhappy for such a long time, but I didn't know that that was the reason. Until I thoroughly cleaned up my space and I saw a difference in my overall mental health. I was lighter. I was happy. I was smiling. I was internally joyful and happy, and that made me realize that, oh, when my environment is clean, tidy, beautiful, my heart, mind, and soul are stunningly happy, and I feel incredible. Happiness is a beautiful thing to have, and I want that for you as well. So if you are in a messy, cluttered environment, it's time to clean up and beautify your living space. I guarantee you will be happy with the results, and that will transfer on to you. I will not lie, when I am so much happier, I enjoy life way more. I mean, who wouldn't, right? So friends, being happy allows you to position yourself to see and receive the good things that come to you. When you're in a state of happiness consistently, everything looks beautiful and you start to see miracles all around you. And again, that all goes back to creating beautiful spaces, having gratitude, and doing things that you enjoy, so that your happiness is just constantly in you and overflowing. So I encourage you to start implementing those small little tiny tips that will bring massive happiness in your single or non-single life, because I know that you want to live the best you possibly can and optimize this season of your life, whichever one you're in. So it will be up to you to make that happen. Now, of course, life will throw curveballs at us every so often, so keep these tips in the back of your pocket for a rainy day. Alright, that's it for today. If there was one thing you learned from today's episode, please by all means let me know in the comments below, or like this video so that I know that this is helping you and so that I can continue to make more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have not yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe, and let's continue this journey in bettering ourselves and improving our lives and living the best life that we possibly can. Alright, talk to you later.